I kept thinking, I'll just push through and I'll get better. And it's just like flu, I just wasn't getting better. Nobody
Yeah.
could explain it to me. And the doctor said, yep, you got long COVID. That's it. Nothing we can do. And I fainted. He said to me, you have to have a wheelchair. You can't to go home. So I got a wheelchair going home, and that was kind of the realisation, like, this is not getting better. You're kidding yourself. And the brain fog was horrific. Sometimes I was just not finding my way around the house. That was my first golden moment, really, because it was like saying, this is where you are, and there are certain things that if you do, you've got a good chance of being better. Dave looked at me and he went, you're better already. He's actually said to me, welcome back. I'm out every day in a different outfit, in my little red sports car with the roof down, I've got to a point now where I can stand for the concerts. I'm just living a great life.
So Pamela, appreciate you jumping on to do this success story. You are amazing. Your story is incredible. I'd love you to give us a little bit of context of where you're from, how old are you, and when did you start struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome?
Surely, right. So I am based in Fife in Scotland, which is just north of Edinburgh, and lovely place to live. I spent a long time of my career in finance and working in offices, and then at age 55 I gave that up and became a personal trainer, and I built my own gym in my garden, and I had loads of clients, and within 4 months of opening, COVID struck. So we had a lot of opening, shutting, training in the park, just making do, and it was quite stressful with a new business. But then, of course, I got COVID myself. And I kept thinking, I'm going to just get over it. I wasn't actually that ill. I was only in bed for like a day. And then I tested positive for a very long time, for 17 days. So I know now that I had a very high viral load. And of course, being the kind of person I am, I just kept saying, well, I'll just push through and I'll get better. And it's just like flu, I just wasn't getting better. And I did the Nuffield programme. I don't know if you have that in Australia, but we have it in the UK. Nuffield Health was I think it was 6 weeks of sort of graded exercise.
Yep.
But again, it just didn't do it for me,
Yeah. What were before that? What were you struggling with the most physiologically from long COVID?
Oh, it's just totally post-exertional malaise. Because I was able to do things. I was going on walks. I was training clients. I was doing everything, and it would be 2 days later that I would crash, and I just didn't understand this. Nobody could explain it to me. And the doctor said, "Yep, you got long COVID. That's it. Nothing we can do."
Yeah, that's what they always say. That's the problem, right?
Yeah. And, people were recommending all sorts of things to me, all different. And so I struggled on for a couple of years. And it was in January of 24 that we went on a holiday to Fuerteventura in Spain. And I had requested assistance through the airport because I realised that standing for long periods of time was difficult. And so we got the queue jumping ability, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, do you want a wheelchair? And I said, no, I'll be fine. I was fine all through the flight, got to the airport in Fuerteventura, and I fainted.
Right.
And it was the holiday company said to me, you have to have a wheelchair. You can't to go home. We can't be responsible for you. So, and I got a wheelchair going home, and that was kind of the realisation, like, this is not getting better. You're kidding yourself. So it was just kind of at that point, I don't know, maybe serendipity, but I found you on Facebook, and I started following some of the things that you were doing, and then you launched Foundations. And I would say when I joined Foundations, I was about 40% of myself, and and that was the crucial bit, that I was going downhill.
Yeah. Okay. What were some of the things, like, apart from post-exertional malaise, did you have brain fog? Did you
Oh,
have
absolutely. Yeah.
muscle aches and pains?
No muscle aches and pains. No, I never had that, fortunately. And yeah, it was mostly the crashing and just the unexplained fatigue, and and the brain fog was horrific. And there are bits of my brain that just didn't show up for work, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like my internal GPS. We moved house in December 23, and I couldn't. Sometimes I was just not finding my way around the house. It's not a mansion, you know. But I would just turn the wrong way out of my bedroom, and my vocabulary disappeared. My ability to speak freely, I just lost that, and I just was losing interest in life. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're a bit of a go-getter. Like you're someone who, would you classify yourself as a type A
Oh,
personality?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, I've not heard you talk about this, but I'm sure you've looked into it, and it was identified by my work a few years ago, is that I'm incredibly externally referenced. So I get all my validation externally,
Mm,
and I also praise other people, sometimes to excess, because that's what I like.
yeah.
And to an internally referenced person, that can be very annoying. But
Interesting.
it's something to look into. It's really interesting.
What's it called? What's it
The
called?
internal and external referencing.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's where you get your validation from. I mean, at the course I was on a course with my work, and they said basically there's a spectrum, and
Yeah.
internally is over here and externally is over here, and Pamela, you're out in the car park.
Yeah. Wow.
I
Okay.
just
So interesting.
that leads to people pleasing,
Yeah.
and so through the journey that I've had, I have identified this type A personality. The people pleasing has been the thing that has made me vulnerable.
Mm.
And
Tell me
through
more about that.
through your help and through Ellie's help, took me
Coach
a
Ellie.
while. I only came to it in February, and it's still quite, in fact, I think it was May, and I'm still quite raw about this. So as a child, I was smacked physically every day,
Oh, right.
because I'd been naughty. My memory is that I was smacked more than my sisters. I don't know if that was true, but my mum told me as an adult, every day she would wake up and go, I won't smack Pamela tomorrow. I won't smack Pamela today. And she said by lunchtime I had broken my promise, because I was just so annoying. All my life I've said, oh, it didn't harm me. It didn't do me any harm getting the occasional smack. I mean, it wasn't physical violence, if you like. I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah. It was just
injured.
the old school way.
It was the old school way of dealing with children. And but what I've identified through talking to Ellie, the things that I've been doing were not bad. I wasn't a bad child.
Yeah.
But most of the time I was trying to be helpful, but just
Yes.
getting it wrong.
Yes. Yeah,
Trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
please
yeah. Yeah.
people,
Spilling
but
the milk and yeah.
trying to. So if you've got time, I'll tell you this story. So my sister was a great reader, and she had a beautiful set of Beatrix Potter books in hardback, complete set. And once I learned to write, I thought I would like to be a librarian. So I took a red crayon, and in the front of every book, I wrote FRUNT. And in the
Oh
back of
no.
every book, I wrote BAK, because I thought
Oh
that would
no.
help the readers.
How old were you?
Just learned to write, so I must have been 5.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
But I
Okay,
mean, I got royally smacked for that one.
so you're a type A personality, and it's really common. Like most people with long COVID or chronic fatigue syndrome, they are that type of person. Like they're not lazy people. They're not people who just want to sit and watch TV all day. Like they're go-getters. So the people that we work with are like, they're go-getters. We call them go-getters because they just want
Yeah,
to go, which makes recovery harder because
yeah.
they don't want to sit still and do nothing.
It was the first thing
Find
Ellie
balance.
said to me on our first meeting. She asked me to talk about myself for a bit, and she stopped me after 5 minutes and she went, I want you to write down in your book, Pamela is not lazy.
Mm.
And that's gone with me through my whole journey.
Which is profound, I think it's profound because resting can be healing. Not that you need to rest all the time anyway, because resting's not going to get you better completely anyway. Resting is part of recovery, or restoring energy is, sorry. But, just when doctors say you just need to rest all the time, that's actually not going to work either. But to know and validate yourself of like, yeah, I'm not a lazy person for working on my recovery and finding balance,
Yeah.
right? Like having a balanced approach is one of the keys. So when you
Yes.
joined Foundations, which is our 5-week short course, which we only run once a year, and we have a big intake from all around the world. In fact, it's happening right now. We're in week 2 now, and they're just loving it. It's so much more than they realized, when they join. They're just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just going to be something small, but it's like it's a really powerful 5 weeks together. What helped you in the first 5 weeks? Like when you joined Foundations, what was just the big aha moment for you? Because you're a smart person, so I'm sure you would have just like once you logged in and you got some help, like what clicked for you?
So I think the phrase acceptance is not resignation. That was my first golden moment, really, because it was like saying, this is where you are, and there are certain things that if you do, you've got a good chance of being better, but you're not giving up by accepting these things and by, having a wheelchair in the airport or saying no to invitations, because actually that's in my own best interest, and I think I'd never really put myself first. I think I was always, the thing I learned from you guys, and it was through the trainings, yes, but mostly the online stuff and talking to other people and learning that there was so many other people in the world that were just like me.
Yeah.
And that, yes, my what do you call it? My physiology had been damaged by this virus.
Yes.
But there was something far deeper behind that, and that I was vulnerable to that. And, by my behaviours and the way I lived my life. And so I just reinvented myself. And
Tell me about the behaviors that weren't serving you.
so it's just that whole thing about you've got to live life to the full, and you do everything you can, and you always do it to your absolute best. I'm a complete perfectionist, like a lot of the group. I always laugh that I can't go to, I love my gym, I love working out and everything, but I could never go to an exercise class unless I was going to be the best.
Wow. Okay. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And when I sat my exams and everything, I want to be the best, I want to be top, I want to get the medals. I don't know where that comes from, because my sisters aren't like that.
So
But
interesting.
yeah, but
So
I enjoy attention,
significant.
Yeah, very significant. So yeah, anyway, I gave up my work. We moved house. I've got this beautiful house, beautiful garden, and I've learned from you guys about living life at a better pace for me. And finding things that give me joy every day. They don't need to be big things. They might just be a little thing.
Yeah. Totally. Whereas before, the old Pamela was like, everything needs to be 100, all or nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so common. Like it's one of the biggest traits. So let's talk about baseline then, because I think that's one of the most important fundamentals for everyone on the recovery journey, and that's what helped fix your behavior or stopping you from going all or nothing. Um, how did you implement it initially? I think the acceptance is resignation is brilliant because you need that to then start with where you're at. Is
Yeah.
that what you did? Like you did that, and then how did you formulate your baseline?
It took a long time to understand the
Okay.
concept. Like a lot of people, I think.
It's good to
Um,
know. It's good to hear that because I think some people think that they should just get it done within a week, but
that was
it's not the
me.
case.
Because I joined foundations. I wasn't going to join the program. I was just going to do foundations, learn everything, put it all into practice, and then get better. Because that's how
Okay.
it
Yeah.
works.
Because you were like, okay, I just need, I'll do the 4 weeks or 5 weeks and then I'll just get better. That's interesting. Because I think a lot of people think like that. I know for a fact that when anyone joins our programs, the first week they think they're going to get it perfect the first week and it's going to be amazing.
And
So they
like
don't
everybody else, I
back
made a
into it.
schedule of how I was going to watch all of the trainings and
Yeah,
read all of the things.
yeah.
And
It's
you
like you
came on
just
the first call and you went, okay, so you think you're going to do this? Well, you're not.
yeah. We have a rule that like you're not allowed to go through many videos for the first 4 weeks. We actually have we call it the 30-day accelerator process now, and there's literally like 6 videos that you start with. That's it. Because it's all about it's all about learning and collecting data off your baseline and then implementing the correct one, which takes usually 4 to 8 weeks depending on each individual. But once the baseline's sorted, like for you, like how did it feel when you finally got your baseline right? What did it feel like in your body?
It was so gradual.
Mm,
You can only see it. Well, I could only see it in hindsight. I suddenly realised that I hadn't had to crash out in my bed for over a month.
mm-hmm.
And that I was waking up in the morning, not groggy and, unable to speak. I just started wanting to do more things, but within my capability,
Naturally, like a pull, organic pull towards
Yeah,
naturally doing more without pushing it. Yes.
yeah. And and also, I think your program gave me the words to talk to friends and family about it, to explain it. The things like your energy bucket takes
Mm,
longer to fill than other people, and
mm,
it empties much quicker than other people.
mm,
And also, I think Dr. Olivia said on one of the things, she said, some days your bucket is bigger than others.
mm,
And that was really profound for me because I went and did Perfect Imperfect Day. And I just looked back at it yesterday and I just laughed because it was so unrealistic. I wouldn't even attempt that now.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. When
that
you're
was
trying to
like,
be,
I'll get up at this time, I'll have my breakfast and I'll do this thing, and then I'll have a snack, and then I'll have a rest, and then I'll have my lunch, and then no, and now I just do I've learned to listen to my body.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And how did you feel mentally and emotionally, like when it started to click in? Did it feel? It would have felt weird at the start because it's like
I just
slow,
didn't
like
believe it because I've been ill for 2 years.
right.
And so I've just passed 3 years since I was ill. And I've tried so many things. I didn't believe it. And I thought, well, this is nice that it's temporary. And I always believed that I would get better eventually, but I didn't. It took a long time for it to sink in. So there was no revelation. There was no big thing. I think it was in February. I'm just going to look back at my notes. I came on a call with, I think it was maybe with Ellie, and there was, my husband had said to me, you changed. So the first thing was we went back to Fuerteventura in January this year, and I got the wheelchair. We did everything. The first day I rested, I didn't do lots of walking. Did it right,
Mm-hmm.
planned it properly. And within an hour of arriving in the sunshine, Dave looked at me and he went, "You're better already."
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
sunshine had perked me up. And then 4 days later, he said, "We are booking this. The minute we get home, we are booking this for next year, and we're going to do 2 weeks because you
Wow.
have changed." And
Yeah, that's
he said,
amazing.
he's actually said to me, "Welcome back."
Yes, I remember that. Welcome back.
It was just so lovely. And he said, "You've stopped being negative about things." I hadn't realised I was doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You're more optimistic about things. You're just happier in yourself. Um, So, I haven't had this great injection of super energy and I'm out climbing mountains. That may come, but if it doesn't, this is a good life.
Yeah, you're living a great life.
I've built a great life. It's a different life to what I thought I was going to have. So I'm not running. I'm not lifting 100 kilos.
Well, I'm kind of glad about that because I'm not sure that'd be that good for your body.
Well, it was
100
when I
kilo.
did it.
You're wild.
I'm really glad I've got a video of me doing it.
Wow. How old are you now, Pamela?
I'm 60. I'll be 62 next week.
Amazing. So good.
But no, I now lift 14 kilos. And it's fine because I'm still exercising my body to an appropriate level.
But you're feeling good though. That's
And
the
I feel
difference,
good
right?
with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I've realised is, and you've said this many times, but it takes me a long time to sink in, that every adaptation, and even in well people, an adaptation takes 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, physiologically, absolutely.
Yeah. So for me, it might take a little bit longer. And my trainer, Gavin, has been absolutely superb. He knew nothing about chronic fatigue when I first got it, but he says now I'm a specialist in chronic fatigue. But he's learned that even if we keep the same weight, but we change the machine. So instead of doing a leg press and a lateral leg press, we're doing an elevated leg press. That's an adaptation for my body. So that will then take me 8 weeks to adapt before we can change something else.
Yeah, 100%. I love
and
that.
that's been a big revelation for both of us. So yeah, I don't have to progress up the weights. I just have to keep showing up.
You can change it.
Yeah.
We'll talk about more in a moment. We'll talk about where you're at, all the cool things you've been doing. We've spoken about baseline and acceptance, which is like two vital things. What are two more things that come to mind that helped you tremendously on your recovery journey?
The guilt workshop
Talk to me about guilt.
Well, it's funny because if you'd said to me 2 years ago that I felt guilt, I would say, no, I don't feel guilt. But it's about the people pleasing. So if my friend phones up and says, would you like to go out for the day? We'll go out for lunch. We'll take the train into Edinburgh and we'll go out for lunch and then we'll go to the theatre and then we'll have a few drinks and we'll come home. I'd be like, yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I would love to do that. And I would just say yes. And then I got to a point where I realised that my body was not up to doing that. And I would say, well, no, because see, I'm doing something else the day before, and that would be too much. And the train's a bit hard for me, and make all these.
You'd be over-explaining all the time.
That's the word. Over-explaining everything.
Too much, yeah, exhausting. Yeah.
And then I think it was Dr. Olivia or yourself said, "No is a complete sentence," and that is just my mantra now. Thank you. No, not for me.
Yeah. Not right now, thanks.
Yeah, maybe another time.
Exactly, maybe another time. Yeah.
And it's just, you don't have to explain things to people.
Yeah. And what's actually happening there is you're retraining your brain, mentally rehearsing that things are fine. Whereas when you're constantly over-explaining, there's a whole video called Mental Rehearsal on our YouTube channel. And it's about that because if you're constantly saying, oh, I'm so bad and it's terrible and I just can't do this and I can't do that, you're just constantly mentally rehearsing how bad things are. But when you start saying, no, not today, thanks, or not right now, I'm working on some other things, or I'm working on my health right now, it gives you the upward trajectory, and kind of starts to retrain your brain.
And just the whole thing about asking for what you need, so we'll talk later about what I'm doing now, but some of the things I do, some charity work, and people go, oh, can you help us set up the stuff? And I'm like, no, sorry, I don't have that capability today. But I'll gladly do something else, or sorry, not today. I'll maybe help you next month.
Yeah, exactly. So you're starting to do what's appropriate. So letting go of guilt is a huge one.
Huge.
Yeah,
and also learning, letting go of guilt. A lot of that was about taking care of that small child who was trying to please everybody, and giving some care to that person who's still inside me, but learning that I don't have to please people, and that my friends won't fall out with me if I say I can't go out with them, or you know, they won't not speak to me because I haven't managed to go to the pub
Totally.
or whatever.
Totally. What's something that you say, the inner child thing? Is there like a reminder that you say to yourself to soothe yourself to say, no, it's okay. You don't need to seek approval. You know, you're already loved as you are. Or like, is there an exercise that you've done to help yourself with that?
Thanks. I just, this no is a complete sentence. And, you know, you are enough.
Yeah.
As you are enough.
Mm.
And whether people approve of you or not, it's their problem, not mine.
Mm.
You know, I mean, you still
Okay.
don't want to be a nasty person, but I don't think I have
No,
that
of course.
in me. But yeah, it's not about getting other people's approval for what you've done. It's about feeling good inside yourself about what you're doing.
So true. What's one more thing that kind of helped you to the next level? I mean, you kind of mentioned exercise before, which has been vital for your recovery.
Exercise has been absolutely
Movement.
vital. And I'll tell you,
Let's rephrase that. Movement, not exercise, because so many people, like, in their minds, they think exercise means pushing yourself up a mountain. It's like, well, yeah, if you want to do that and you can do that because you're getting better and you're recovering or you're recovered, then awesome, which hiking and all that stuff is so possible. But during recovery, we change the word exercise to movement because restorative movement is about reconditioning the body without overdoing it. So tell us your experience with that.
so I rejected, I would say, that's a strong word, but I rejected Steph's movement programs
I
because
bet you did. But
I
coming from your background of exercise, for sure, you're like, oh, I don't need to do this. Yeah.
I know better than that. I can do that for myself.
Mm.
And you know, I'm at a higher level than that already.
Mhm.
And it took me a long time. And then I went in and did one, and it's like, oh, that's really nice. It was very soothing.
So
Um,
restorative, like the program was designed from an exercise scientist who went through chronic fatigue syndrome through our program herself. And then now she's created an amazing movement plan for everybody in our program, whether you're bedbound or you're, partially active or functional. But it's all designed to restore, energy in the muscles again and in the body again. And every session should feel good. Like you can
yes,
walk away doing something and actually feel better for it, not worse. And that's the whole point. And people just don't get that until they're inside the program getting the right help.
yeah. And you don't need to sweat to do movement.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be in
You know,
pain to do it. You don't need to push yourself to pain. You
no,
don't
you
need to
don't
be
even need to be
sweating.
out of breath.
Exactly.
So that's
Amen.
what, and there's one more thing actually that was pivotal for me is learning how much cognitive work is exhausting.
Mm,
And you know, noisy environments and brain work, and that rest is complete rest. Rest is not just changing activity. It's not sitting down and, I don't know, polishing the silver or something. Rest, to be restorative, a 20-minute rest is lying down in the quiet and just letting everything go. I'm
mm,
not a person I'm not a meditation person. It doesn't work for me. I've got too busy a brain, I think. But actually, to learn that. So even if my friend said, "We'll go out for the day and I'll drive, and you know, we'll go somewhere where you don't have to walk and everything," but just being out in the car and talking to people and doing that cognitive work, so hard, and that was so tiring, and I had
mm.
never understood that.
Yeah. And then that formulates into the baseline too, realizing
Yeah.
that, you can still do cognitive stuff every day, but you just do the right amount and then you can build on it.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, as you get stronger and healthier and you've got more capacity, you can start to do whatever you want whenever you want. Um, so I love that. I think it's a really good tip. Like people just think, and I think it's just because they come from an active background that it's very hard for them to slow down and think the restorative movement's going to be good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's counterintuitive because they just want to get back to their old life. But the restorative strength training, rebuilding, reconditioning appropriately, this is not graded exercise therapy, by the way. It's totally different programming. And this is a nuanced, flexible approach that is flexible within so many factors of, sleep or not good sleep, food, stress, lifestyle, all these things. And when people finally get into it, just like you did, because you were one of those people, like the go-getter who's like, I have to do more, I have to sweat, I have to push myself. The restorative strength training protocol, it helps you go from here to here. So you can, if you want to, you can go sweat, you can go mountain hiking, you can go skiing or whatever it is, like everyone's got different goals, ballet dancing, horse riding, you name it, art, dancing, all the things. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell me, for the folks at home, from where you were, which was pretty crappy, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of old habits that were keeping you stuck. What's life like now? Like, give us a bit of a,
So
tell us what you've been up to.
when I joined the program, I said to you I was about 40% and sinking. I'm now over 60% and rising.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very slow, and that's what I've had to accept, that the increments are not 5% a week or 5% a month.
Mm-hmm.
They're in 1%, and they creep up on you. You can't
Mm-hmm.
plan them, they just creep
Mm-hmm.
up on you. But yeah, I'm just living a great life, I'm very, very lucky to have been able to retire on a pension, and I'm financially secure, which is absolutely wonderful. And my heart goes out to people who are in a different part of their lives and aren't financially secure, because it's a worry. And I'm really, really grateful that I'm not in that position. Because I was sitting a lot, I started going to a craft group to just get some company. And I started doing crochet. And I am now, well, I do 3 or 4 little baby cardigans a week now. And through the craft group, I joined a charity, which we make baby clothes and sell them to raise funds for our local hospital.
Oh, amazing. Good on you.
And then I was asked to join the committee of the charity and help out at our sales event. And I'm now vice chair of the charity.
You'd be fantastic at that, though.
And next year I will be the chair.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so good.
But they've allowed me to grow at my pace. And everything has been, and they still say, what can you do at this event? You don't have to be the person who's there first, setting up the tables and carrying the boxes. You can just be the person who's telling other people how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And you're still gymming as well?
Yeah, I never ever gave up the gym.
So
So
gym, how often do you go to the gym now?
I see Gavin once a week.
Once a week.
We do an hour, but we worked out that in that hour we actually are exercising for 12 minutes.
Yeah, okay. So you're getting lots of rest in between your
Lots
sets.
of rest in between sets.
That's good.
And because I've been working with Gavin for 10 years, we just chat. We do a lot of chatting.
Personal trainers are good at that.
So I do that. If I've got time and energy, I go another time and do the same session again, but on my own.
Okay, cool. And do you do other movement outside of that?
Not formal exercise. So
yeah, more daily functional exercise.
I do something every day. So whether it's my garden, and you've always liked seeing my flowers in my garden.
Beautiful, I know. It's so nice.
Lovely. I used to go out in the garden and do 2 hours and get everything done in one day. And now I do 30 minutes. And I do 30 minutes and then I have a rest.
Yeah.
So whether it's gardening, and I don't do any more that day. I might do 30 minutes the next day, I might not. And do you know what?
Yeah.
The bigger the weeds are, the easier they are to pull out.
True. That is true. You just go boom.
If you leave them a bit longer, it's easier.
That's very smart. That's streamlined processes.
Yeah. And, I do the ironing. Instead of having to do all the ironing in one shot, I might do 30 minutes. Now, I might move it to the side and have a rest for a couple of hours and do another 30 minutes. Or I might not. I might just put it away.
Yeah.
So I do movement every day, whether it's a bit of housework, a bit of gardening, a bit of ironing, might go for it's not a formal walk, but I may walk as part of my day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm out every day. I think my neighbours think I'm a fraud because I moved here and explained to my new neighbours that I, had a long-term condition and that I wasn't able to do things. And that was before I joined the programme. And but now they see me like practically every day. Out in a different outfit, in my little red sports car with the roof down,
Oh, so good. That
And
is
they're like,
gold.
I thought you went well. Yeah,
That's good. You can say, yeah, I'm getting better.
yeah.
Because
You
you
don't
are.
see the bits where I'm having a little rest.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you're also getting better at the same time. And I think that's the cool
Another
part.
thing I did, so I never gave up my choir. I sing in a choir, and I never gave it
That's
up.
right. Yeah, which is amazing. So that's your joy, the choir singing.
Absolutely, yeah. But it got so hard, because at Christmas time we do 2 concerts in one day. So
Oh,
we
wow.
turn up at 1:30, we rehearse for an hour, we do the concert, we come home, have our dinner, and then we go back out at night and do another concert, the same concert over again. And I just realised I wasn't going to be able to do that, So I had a chat with the choir rep, and I said, look, I'm on the cusp of not coming to choir because it's too hard. What would make it easy for me was if I can sit down instead of standing up, because we stand up to rehearse.
Yes, of course. Yes.
And, that's good for singing, but it wasn't good for me. So they've made an arrangement where I sit down all the time. And I have a music stand. So instead of standing, holding up, that's so tiring, standing, holding your music.
If you're doing it for 30 minutes right now, for sure.
So I have a music stand now, and I still have that. I've got to a point now where I can stand for the concerts. I don't stand.
I was just going to say, like, now that you're getting better and better and better, there'll be moments in time where you can just stand up and sing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, you can sit down if you want to, but I reckon you're going to start standing up more and more and more. And really
Well, I've started standing up in rehearsal.
There you go. Yeah. I knew
and
that.
then I found a singing teacher because I had lost my range. I couldn't get the top notes. My breath wasn't good. And just because I was out of condition. And I found this singing teacher who happens to be an opera singer. And she sings with Scottish opera. She's amazing. And she started getting me to do all the exercises. We were singing little songs like, Loch Lomond and stuff like that. And then one day she went, now you're ready to sing opera. And she started me singing opera. So I'm now learning French opera, and we're about to do Carmen.
Wow.
She's found this voice that I have never had in my 60 years.
Wow. I want to, personally, I want you to, send me a video of you doing that, singing opera. Send it to me. I'd love to listen. And 2, send me the name of this person because they sound amazing too. I wouldn't mind.
She's fantastic. She has a relation who has chronic fatigue.
Okay.
Very understanding. But she's also mad as a box of frogs. She's Irish. In the middle of when she wants you to let go, I'll clean this up a bit. She'll go, drop your pants.
Yeah, right. So she's like, get it out.
Yeah. But
so good.
no, she's discovered this voice that I never knew I had. And it's just amazing. So I'm absolutely loving that.
So good. Your life just is expanding. You're a fresh of, you are a fresh of breath air and breath of fresh air. Sorry, breath of fresh air. Just like the flowers behind you, and it's just cool to watch you like grow and expand, even in your 60s. You know what I mean? And get better and better and better. And singing opera for fun is pretty damn cool. You're an inspiration. Now, for the people at home who are listening, wondering, if it's possible for them to get better, or if they're, a lot of people don't believe they can get better. Have you got any kind of words of wisdom to these people at home watching this now? Like, what would you say to them?
So yes, it's possible, but you have to want it. And you have to show up and do the work. So you have to trust that you guys know what you're doing. and follow the process and just give yourself into it at the beginning and trust the process, because I thought I knew better. Took me longer than I needed to probably, but it's you just, what do you say, loosen the grip?
Yeah, loosen the grip over time.
Yeah, and actually, I think do some of the mental work, which I was very reluctant to do, but it has been profound for me to find that inner child and to forgive them. I could never have spoken to my mum about this. She died 2 years ago. And I think there was some trauma there too. I lost my father in an accident when I was 5 years old. So there was a bit of that as well. And there was things I could never talk to my mum about. And I wish I had now. But yeah, to get back to your question, just trust in the process and do the work and take it at your own pace. Because there are people in the programme who recover very quickly, and there are people who recover in a medium amount of time, and there are people who take a lot longer. But I would also say be open to the other people in the programme, make friends. And
that's amazing.
I have met online so many amazing people,
from all around the world too.
All around the world. Yeah, it's really just amazing.
Super good.
When I joined, it was a big step for me to join foundations, because at that point I didn't know whether we could afford it or not.
Yeah.
But we made the decision because we were in the middle of selling our other house and we hadn't sold it, and it was a bit
right.
And I said to Dave, look, I'd like to invest, which in British pounds was £330 or something.
Right. Yeah.
That was a lot of money to us last year.
Yep.
And he said, look, it's worth a go, do it. And I'm really grateful for his support. And then when I came to the end of foundations, I said to them, look, this is doing me good, but I'm not there yet. And I need to be in this, I need to join this programme. And we worked, by that time we'd sold the house, and we worked out
out well.
A year in the programme was going to be the equivalent of the two of us having a medium type holiday.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. So you worked it out that way, and then it's been able to give you more holidays together because of the program, which is pretty profound, actually.
Our holidays, we were getting to the stage where our holidays were going to be very, very limited because of what I could do.
Incredible. So you joined, so on the back of foundations, you joined mentorship, and would you, and obviously now looking back, would you recommend people who are doing foundations who are like, they liked it, they got helpful, but describe mentorship versus foundations? Like it's a whole different.
It's just it's so much more.
Super
if you think of foundations as nursery school or kindergarten school, whatever you call it, mentorship is like primary school,
high school,
and going through secondary school, and then when you get to lifestyle integration, that's like university.
Wow, I've never heard this before, but I love this. So foundations is primary school, which is like the beginning. Mentorship is like, we'll help you with your recovery all the way through to the end. And then lifestyle integration is once you're at the end of recovery and you need to focus on life, we'll help you with that too. So we have like a third.
And it's rebuilding your life. And I would say to anybody joining the foundation says, right now, you want your old life back. And I would use your time in the programme to consider whether 1 year old life is a healthy life for you, and whether it's what you really want going forward. Because I changed profoundly. When I got ill, in fact, it was while I was completing my studies, it was when I got ill, and I had just qualified as a cancer exercise specialist to be able to work with cancer patients through their treatment for exercise. And my big goal was to get back to doing that. And there was a moment where Ellie and I talked about it, and I went, I've let it go.
You
I
never
don't,
know.
I don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It would have been very fulfilling, but I had to decide whether or not to retake the qualification because my license had run out.
Ah, yeah.
And it was like, do I want to put all my energy into doing this? No, I can do good in other ways.
Well, I was just thinking, like, you're living a full life now. You know what I mean? Like in what you're doing in different ways.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I work
it's
with
pretty profound.
2 different business women's groups, and I mentor younger people who are starting out in business as well, and help them with
Amazing.
that. And I'm on the committee for that as well. I seem to be on committees a lot, but yeah, you can find a good place to be. And Pamela 2.0 is a much more compassionate and less judgmental person than I was before. And I've learned that from you guys.
Well, you are, like I said, you're amazing. Super excited for more for you.
You might need to edit this bit out. I wish there was a way of staying inside the programme just in a alumni basis,
People
But
have reached out to us because the connections are so strong. When you eventually leave the program, people stay in contact forever. And they're like, I had someone reach out from 4 years ago. Oh my God, can we do like an alumni catch up once a year? Just a big Zoom session where we get to meet all the, all of the old members that left and, move forwards with their recovery.
yeah,
So I'll
it's
take that.
almost like sometimes I would like to just dip back in and
I'll
watch the
take that
guilt
feedback.
workshop.
I'll send that idea to Ash and we
Yeah.
can stew over it. But we've got lots of great things going on at the moment.
I know you're doing so well, and your lovely new
Thank you.
dog and your new premises, and you're just going from strength to strength. I tell everybody about you.
Thank you.
At the beginning, I was like, I'm working with this guy in Australia, and they're like, oh, whoa, that's
I think a lot of people say that in 78 countries because we've helped thousands of people now in 78 countries. They must all think, who's this guy from Australia and who's this team?
Do you know? If what makes me mad, angry, is that what you do is not rocket science, right? No offense, but there is nothing in the program that is
you don't need a
not
scientist to
known.
break it down for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just putting a process in place and understanding why what's happened to you has happened, and knowing how to forgive yourself and be gentle with yourself and have optimism that you're going to recover. That's just not available on the National Health, and it should be.
I agree. Should be in every doctor's clinic, but they don't have the time, and that's why this is why it's a 6 to 12 month recovery process because it's nuanced and it takes time to implement these practical things.
There are private doctors in Scotland who are charging hundreds of pounds a session to do blood tests with people and give them prescriptions for vitamins on vitamins on vitamins and antihistamines and whatever. I've not heard any of them.
And they're missing the core ingredients of recovery, which is the hardest part.
It's sleep. Sleep is the big thing. Restorative sleep, rest, nutrition, and be kind to yourself. That's what I think. Do you know, halfway through the programme I wrote in my book, I want to be a CFS health mentor.
Wow.
And then at the end of the programme, I said to Ellie, I don't need to be a CFS health mentor because I'm enjoying my other things too much and can do good in other ways.
That's exactly right.
Without giving myself that pressure.
Exactly. Well, Pamela, I freaking appreciate you. You're amazing. You're like a 10-year-old in a 62-year-old body. I love your energy. You're so sweet and fun. Keep being great. Thank you for doing this interview because so many people, on the behalf of everyone actually watching right now, I just want to thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, no, thank you, because I don't know where I would be if I hadn't joined the programme. I really don't know where I would be. So thank you and all of your team so much. And if you ever come to Scotland, you've got to come visit me.
Oh my God. We'll have a cup of tea for sure.
Excellent.
All right. I'll hold you to it. I'll see you soon. Big love. Bye for now. See you later.